My nursing bag falls to the floor with a heavy sound. I stop on the basement stairs, shocked at what I see. The twins' beds, dressers, and toy boxes are pushed together in a small group near the water heater. Their favorite toys, Milo's old teddy bear and Tessa's purple unicorn, sit sadly on top of quickly made beds. Cobwebs hang in the corners above. Mom? Dad? My voice echoes off the concrete walls. The washing machine hums, reminding me this basement was never for children. The air smells like soap and dampness, a smell that never goes away no matter how many machines try to dry it. My mom appears at the top of the stairs, holding my sister's baby, Caleb. Her face shines when she looks at him, but her smile fades when she sees me. "Oh, Celine, you're home early." She avoids my eyes. "What is this?" I point at my children's things. "Why are Tessa and Milo's things down here?" Dad comes behind her, arms crossed. "We had to make some changes," he says. "Autumn needs a proper office for her remote work, and Caleb needs a real nursery." "A real nursery?" I repeat. The twins already had real bedrooms upstairs. Mom sighs in that familiar way, tired and annoyed. "Celine, don't be difficult. Autumn needs stability now, and Caleb is at an important stage. And my children aren't?" My hands shake. "The twins should be grateful they even have a roof," Mom says, bouncing Caleb as he cries. "Many children have less. I remember 3 months ago when I moved back home. My divorce papers were still fresh. I had told the twins we'd stay with Grandma and Grandpa for a little while. I swallowed my pride and agreed to pay part of the expenses, even though this was my childhood home, my safe place. Then Autumn came with baby Caleb after her marriage also failed. But unlike me, she was welcomed warmly. Everyone adored Caleb. The twins, however, were scolded for being too loud, for laughing during Caleb's naps, for simply being kids. If this story touched your heart, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories every day. "You had no right to move their things without asking me," I say, trying to keep my voice calm. "They're my children." Dad's voice turns stern. "Your sister's career and Caleb's needs are important now. The basement is good enough." "Good enough?" I climb a couple of steps to face them. "It's damp, and Milo has asthma." "You're overreacting," Dad says. "Autumn needed the space more," Mom adds. "She's building a future for Caleb." And then it hits me. The truth I never wanted to admit. My children matter less. They always have. I take out my phone, my hand steady now. Last week, my coworker Brenda told me her mother-in-law's small rental house was empty and could be used in emergencies. She'd said it kindly after hearing me complain about living with my sister and her baby. "What are you doing?" Mom asks, frowning. "Making other arrangements," I reply. The text to Brenda is short. "Is that emergency housing still available?" "Don't be ridiculous," Dad scoffs. "Where could you go on a nurse's salary? You need us." Mom shifts Caleb. "Autumn is family too, Celine. You can't expect us to treat her differently just because you were here first." "This isn't about who was here first," I say, picking up Tessa's clarinet case from near a pipe. "This is about respect. My children deserve better than a basement." Autumn appears at the top of the stairs, looking both guilty and firm. "The twins will adjust," she says. "Kids are strong." "Convenient how that only applies to my children," I say, brushing dust from the clarinet case. "You're overreacting," Mom replies as always. "The basement is fine. We're doing you a favor by letting you stay here. A favor, as if I haven't been buying groceries, paying bills, and working night shifts so I can watch Caleb during the day, while Autumn takes care of her mental health." My phone buzzes with Brenda's reply, available immediately. "Call me." Standing in the damp basement, surrounded by my children's things, I finally see what I've been ignoring for years. My parents have always treated my twins as less important than my sister's baby. By staying, I'm teaching Tessa and Milo to accept this, to believe they deserve less. "I'll be upstairs when the twins get home from school," I say calmly. "We'll talk then." But as I climb the stairs past my silent family, I already know. My children deserve windows, warmth, and respect, and only I can give it to them. That night I cannot sleep. The ceiling above creaks with every step, reminding me my children are in the basement. Milo finally stopped coughing an hour ago, curled around his teddy bear. Tessa acted brave, arranging her unicorns on the cold cement ledge, but I saw her wiping tears when she thought I wasn't looking. After tucking them in, I go upstairs for water, my nurse's instincts still alert. The house is quiet, except for the fridge's hum and the soft glow from Autumn's laptop on the counter. She must have left it open while feeding Caleb. I start to turn away when a message alert appears. My sister's name flashes with blue chat bubbles. I shouldn't look, but something pulls me closer. The same instinct that makes me double-check a patient's chart. Mom said we can just put them in the basement. Autumn's message says, dated 3 weeks ago. Celine works so much she'll barely notice, and the twins are used to making do. My hand flies to my mouth. The chat shows weeks of planning about moving my children downstairs while I worked double shifts. Autumn's friend replies with laughing emojis. Your sister is such a doormat. Tears blur my eyes, but I blink them back. This wasn't a quick decision. It was planned, while I cooked meals and cared for Caleb on my days off. I hear Caleb crying upstairs, then Mom's soothing voice and footsteps. Quickly, I step back from the laptop and fill my glass with shaking hands. Oh, you're still up, Autumn says casually, coming in. No guilt, no shame. Mom's got Caleb, he's teething. I know, I reply, my voice strange even to me. I've been giving him teething tablets during my shifts. Later, when the twins are asleep in the basement, I sit across from my parents and Autumn at the kitchen table. Autumn rocks Caleb while my parents avoid my eyes. They look united, while I stand with my arms crossed. The basement is temporary, Dad says, until we figure out something permanent. What does that mean? I ask calmly. Mom adjusts Caleb's blanket. Well, since Autumn plans to stay long-term, we have to think about everyone's needs. Indefinitely? I repeat. My therapist says stability is important right now, Autumn adds, sipping tea Mom made for her. Caleb needs consistency. And what about my children's stability? I snap. Dad stiffens. Don't be dramatic, Celine. They have a roof, he says. A roof I help pay for, I remind him. I cover more than a third of the expenses. My parents exchange a look that makes my skin prickle. About those contributions, Mom says softly. We thought it made sense to share resources. Autumn needs help with Caleb's costs, and you're already working. The truth hits me hard. You've been giving my money to Autumn? Not all of it, Dad says quickly. Just enough to help her. While my children sleep in a basement, I whisper, pressing my palms on the table to stay steady. If you don't like it, Dad says with a dismissive wave, you could pitch a tent in the yard. At least the twins would have windows. His cruel joke lingers in the air. No one laughs. Even Autumn looks uncomfortable, but she says nothing to defend me. In the next few days, the results of this new arrangement become clear. Tessa is no longer allowed to play her clarinet. What was once encouraged is now called too loud for Caleb's naps. Maybe next year you can try a quieter instrument, Mom suggests, as if Tessa's love for music is only a passing hobby. Milo, usually full of stories, becomes quiet. At dinner, he only speaks when spoken to, eyes downcast. When I ask about school, he shrugs instead of sharing his usual excited tales about science. He's just adjusting, Dad says. Kids are resilient. That night, I check Milo's inhaler log. He has been using it twice as often since moving to the basement. The damp air isn't just uncomfortable. It is harming his health. I go to my own corner of the basement, a small space behind a bookshelf. I open my banking app. My extra shifts have helped. With my savings and next week's paycheck, I finally have enough for first and last month's rent on the apartment Brenda mentioned. I stare at the numbers, wondering, should I confront my family again, or should I leave quietly? Which would be stronger, demanding respect or walking away? The pipes above groan and knock, as if giving their own answer. A week later, I return home after my third double shift. Exhausted, I barely manage to take off my shoes when the doorbell rings. Aunt Cynthia, Uncle Pete, and 3 cousins arrive, all crowding into the living room to coo over Caleb and his bouncer. There she is, Mom says loudly, as if nothing is wrong. We were just about to give the grand tour. Autumn beams. I can't wait to show off his nursery. It's perfect now. My stomach tightens. his nursery, the twins' old bedroom. The family goes upstairs, voices full of excitement over the fresh paint, shelves Dad built, and the window seat Mom sewed by hand. Never mind that Tessa had begged for shelves for years. Never mind that Milo had asked for a reading nook since he first learned to read. It's just what a growing boy needs, Aunt Cynthia declares, touching the expensive crib mattress. Your twins must be so kind, letting their cousin have such a nice room, Uncle Pete adds with a nod to me. My mouth tastes bitter. They didn't exactly have a choice. Silence follows until Mom jumps in. We'll turn the basement into a proper bedroom eventually. But first, Dad says, we're redoing the kitchen. Autumn needs space to prepare Caleb's organic meals. Later, while relatives eat upstairs, I slip down to check on Milo. His cough echoes against the concrete, rough and hollow. Mom? He asks, clutching his inhaler. Is dinner ready? Almost, buddy. I sit next to him, rubbing his back as another cough shakes him. How's the breathing today? He shrugs. The same. Dr. Phillips said the dampness isn't helping, I remind him, handing him water. We'll see him again next week. Upstairs, laughter bursts from the dining room. Down here, Milo's asthma worsens after more than a week in the basement. The pediatrician had already warned me. Environmental factors. We both knew exactly what that meant. Will Hannah be at school tomorrow? I ask, trying to cheer him up. Milo lowers his eyes to the inhaler. Doesn't matter. I don't invite friends over anymore. Why not, honey? Tessa doesn't either. It's embarrassing, he whispers, hugging his knees. No one else lives in their grandparents' basement. The truth cuts me deeply. 2 days ago, I overheard Tessa refusing a sleepover invite, saying she had too much homework. She no longer plays clarinet at home since Dad said it disturbed Caleb's naps. You should come up for dinner, I tell Milo, ruffling his hair. Milo shakes his head. I'll eat down here. Grandma said my coughing upsets Caleb during meals. Something inside me cracks, not fully breaking, but deep enough that I feel the change. I kiss his forehead and head upstairs, but pause when I hear my name. Celine's working herself too hard, Aunt Cynthia says. 16-hour shifts can't last. She needs the money, Mom replies. Divorced nurses don't exactly have big safety nets. I've been taking every extra shift I can, building savings quietly. In 3 more weeks, I'll have enough for rent and deposit on a place, any place with windows. The next morning, my eyes burn as I change IV bags. Brenda, the charge nurse, stops beside me. Your hands are shaking, she says softly. Just tired, I answer. She glances around, then slips a folded paper into my pocket. That 3-bedroom on Maple Street? The owner's a friend of my husband. It's available next month, but not listed yet. Her eyes meet mine. Your kids deserve windows, Celine. The paper feels heavy in my pocket all shift. Sunday dinner brings more relatives. Aunt Linda, blunt as always, looks around the table. Don't the twins mind living in the basement? She asks. Forks freeze midair. Silence falls. What Linda means, Dad starts, is they won't be down there much longer. We're moving out next week, I interrupt, my voice calm. Forks clatter. Mom spills her water. What do you mean, moving out? Autumn demands. Dad's face darkens. I've signed a lease. 3 bedrooms. In the twins' school district. The words come out steady, almost light. You can't just decide that, Mom sputters. I can, I say. Then to Aunt Linda. Yes, they mind very much. Milo's asthma is worse from the damp. Tessa is too embarrassed to invite friends. They deserve better. This is about money, isn't it? Dad says. We can work something out. This isn't about money. I lay my napkin on the table. It's about respect. That evening I call Brenda in desperation. She answers without hesitation. Of course you can stay with us until the rental's ready. The guest room is small, but the pull-out couch will work for the kids. I can't ask. You're not asking. I'm offering, she says gently. What your parents are doing isn't right, Celine. The difference strikes me. Brenda has known me 3 years and offers real help. My family has known me my whole life and offers only criticism. Thank you, I say, my voice steady, something it never is with my parents. For the first time in months, I make decisions without anyone's approval. I call the landlord, fill out the online application, and arrange utilities. Each step feels like taking off a weight I've carried so long I forgot it was there. The next Saturday, my family gathers to plan Caleb's half-birthday. They argue over cupcakes and Instagram filters while I quietly pack. Essentials go into suitcases: Tessa's clarinet, Milo's favorite books. The lease is signed. The keys are in my purse. Brenda's guest room is waiting. I zip the last suitcase and notice the twins standing in the basement doorway, confusion and a spark of hope on their faces. "Pack your backpacks," I whisper. "Only what you need for the next few days." Tessa's eyes widen. Milo holds his inhaler less tightly. "Are we really leaving?" Tessa whispers. I nod, surprised by the smile on my face. Yes. Tonight. For the first time in months, my children stand taller, as if breathing new air already. The next morning, dawn shines through Brenda's guest room curtains. 6:15. Perfect. My parents won't leave for Caleb's doctor appointment until 8, but I need this head start. "Mom?" Tessa stands in the doorway wearing her favorite purple sweater. Behind her, Milo clutches his inhaler, eyes wide. "Ready?" I ask, steadying my voice. They nod, their shoulders firm like mine. We've been planning this for 3 days, ever since I signed the lease. Brenda's minivan waits in the driveway as we load boxes. "Remember," I tell them, "only essentials today. We'll come back for the rest when they're gone." Half an hour later, we pull into my parents' empty driveway. The house is silent, everyone asleep. We move quickly, like a practiced hospital team. "Take only what matters most," I remind the twins. They carefully pick their treasures: Milo's science medals, Tessa's music books, the quilts Grandma made before she died. With each item, their movements grow stronger. I want to tell them, stand taller. But I don't need to. I see it happening. Backs straightening, chins lifting, as they carry their things toward freedom. By 7:30, the minivan is packed. I leave my house key on the kitchen counter with a note I rewrote a dozen times, now simple. We found our own place. The twins deserve windows. Later, as we unpack at the apartment, my phone buzzes nonstop. Mom, Dad, Mom again, Autumn. I silence them until Tessa asks softly, "Aren't you going to answer, Mom?" "Not yet, honey. We need to settle in first." The voicemails pile up. I listen while the twins arrange books on shelves Brenda found at a yard sale. Mom's voice sharp. "Celine, this is completely inappropriate. You're traumatizing your sister. Caleb can feel the tension. Call us now." Dad's tone, firm and cold. "I can't believe you do this to family." Autumn, wounded. "I can't believe you'd betray me." But each message only hardens my resolve. Their concern isn't for my children. It's for losing their built-in babysitter, their nurse. I block their numbers, at least for now. We need space to breathe, to remember who we are. That night, the twins fall asleep in their own rooms. Real rooms, with windows open to fresh air. My phone lights up with a message from my supervisor. Charge nurse position still open. "Interested in discussing tomorrow?" I stare at it. Better pay, more responsibility, but also more time away, when the twins need me most. Am I ready to rebuild my career while rebuilding their security? The next week races by. On Saturday, Brenda arrives with help. Joanne from pediatrics. Marcus from the ER. Their cars are filled with donations. A small TV, a used couch. Curtains that perfectly match Tessa's bedspread. "We raided the hospital donation closet," Marcus says, carrying a desk for Milo. Families leave good stuff behind. By Sunday night, the apartment feels like home. The twins each have their own rooms, painted in their favorite colors. The living room has a cozy couch, a TV, a small table, and a bookshelf filling with treasures. "Listen," I say to Brenda as we collapse onto the couch after everyone leaves. "To what?" she asks. "Exactly." I smile. Tessa is playing her clarinet. Sweet, clear notes drift from her room, a sound I haven't heard in months. In the kitchen, Milo lines up his rock collection on the windowsill, humming as he works. I realize suddenly that his cough is gone, more than a week away from the damp basement, and he hasn't used his inhaler once. My phone buzzes with a text from Aunt Linda. Your mother told everyone you had a breakdown and kidnapped the children. Just wanted you to know what's being said. How are you really? I type back, we're fine. The twins each have their own bedroom now, with windows. Soon. Replies come from other relatives who have heard Linda's version. Not my parents. Support. Questions. Offers of help. 2 weeks after we left, my father sends a text. We need to talk. May I visit? I put the phone down and watch my children move freely around our small apartment. Their voices bright, their shoulders relaxed. For the first time in months, they look like themselves again. Whatever happens next, we'll face it together, standing tall in the sunlight. 3 days later, the doorbell rings. I straighten my back before opening it. My parents and Autumn stand outside with careful expressions. Mom cradles Caleb. Dad holds a gift bag decorated with dinosaurs, Milo's favorite. You didn't need to bring gifts, I say, stepping aside. We thought the twins might like something from home, Mom answers, her smile tight. This is their home now, I reply evenly. Autumn follows, her usual confidence gone. She looks around at the secondhand furniture and the twins' artwork on the walls. It's cozy, she says, her polite tone strange on her lips. Dad sets the bag down and clears his throat. We've been talking, Celine. We may have been hasty with our arrangements. Hasty? The word tastes bitter. The twins can have one of the upstairs bedrooms, Mom says quickly. We could move things around. Share a room, you mean? Instead of the basement? I ask. Dad shifts. It would be better than this situation. This situation? I repeat. This where my children have their own rooms with windows? You're punishing the family! Autumn bursts out, her mask slipping. The twins miss their cousins. Caleb needs his aunt. My children aren't being punished here, I say firmly, and they aren't tools to punish anyone else. The twins appear at the sound of voices. Tessa slips her hand into mine. Milo lingers, watching his grandparents carefully. Would you like to see our new place? I ask them, my tone warm for my children. Before anyone can answer, I lead the way down the hall. I've accepted the charge nurse position at Memorial. I add over my shoulder. Better hours. Much better pay. I open Tessa's door first. Her bookshelf, painted lavender to match her bedspread, now holds her books. Her clarinet stand waits by the window where sunlight streams in. My friend Brenda's daughter outgrew her desk, I explain, running my hand over the white wood. Perfect for homework and music practice. Next, I open Milo's room. Blue walls glow under the constellation stickers we placed on the ceiling. His telescope, once collecting dust in the basement, now stands proudly by the window. There's a park across the street, Milo tells his grandparents, his voice strong, with a field where we can play soccer. For a moment, Mom's eyes soften. Then she steadies herself. This must be expensive, she says. My children aren't bargaining chips, I reply quietly. They deserve respect as much as Caleb does. Back in the living room, the twins take charge of the tour, pride shining on their faces. Milo leads his grandmother to the kitchen and opens the pantry. Look, we have a shelf just for our snacks, he says. And we don't have to ask every time we're hungry. He pulls out his inhaler. And I don't need this anymore since we moved out of the basement. Dr. Patterson says my lungs sound better already. The basement wasn't that bad, Mom says automatically, then stops when she sees Milo's serious look. Remember when I couldn't stop coughing at night? He asks quietly but firmly. You said I was doing it for attention. Mom looks away, bouncing Caleb higher on her hip. Tessa steps forward, holding her clarinet case. We can practice music whenever we want here, she says, putting the pieces together. She plays a smooth, clear melody that fills the apartment. Dad's face is hard to read. Autumn stands near the door, clutching her phone as if ready to escape. Who's watching Caleb next Tuesday when you have your interview? She asks suddenly, not looking at anyone. The music stops. Tessa lowers her clarinet, and I see her realize the truth, that her aunt had been counting on me for childcare all along. I'm sure you'll figure something out, I reply evenly. You're resourceful. As they prepare to leave, I notice small changes. Dad helps Mom with Caleb's diaper bag instead of leaving it all to Autumn. Mom asks Autumn if she called the babysitting service they'd discussed. At the door, Dad pauses. Celine, could I speak with you privately before we go? I hesitate, but then nod. The twins exchange glances, but I know. We've already won the battle that matters most. Give us a minute, I tell them, stepping onto the balcony with Dad and closing the door. Through the glass, I see Milo showing his grandmother the view from our third-floor apartment. Not grand, but filled with trees and sky instead of concrete walls and pipes. Whatever Dad says now, it can't erase what we've built. Not in this home that smells of fresh paint instead of mildew. Not over the sound of my children laughing in sunlit rooms. Family battles don't end in a single day. But for the first time in years, I'm the one setting the terms. 6 months later, mortgage papers cover the desk in front of me. Each one needs my signature. 6 months ago, I would have hesitated, maybe called my parents to check if I was doing the right thing. Today, I sign with steady strokes. Congratulations. Ms. Dalton, you're a homeowner, the loan officer says, sliding keys across the desk. I grip the cool metal and remember the day my nursing bag hit the basement floor. The contrast steals my breath, from damp concrete walls to a modest 3-bedroom with windows full of light. My phone buzzes. A text from Brenda. We still on for housewarming Saturday? I smile and type back, yes. At work, other nurses now ask me for scheduling advice. Last week, Dr. Patel asked my opinion on a difficult case. Something unthinkable 6 months ago, when I kept my head down. At home, I find Tessa practicing her clarinet in the kitchen, while Milo builds a science project at the dining table. Neither stops when I walk in. Instead, Tessa finishes her piece, and Milo explains his volcano model with pride. Principal Hayes asked me to join advanced band, Tessa says, wiping her mouthpiece. And Jason invited me to his birthday party next weekend, Milo adds. Mrs. Wilson says my project might win first place. Milo's cheeks glow with excitement, not sickness. Can we paint my room blue this weekend? Real blue. Not that gray color Grandma said was good enough. My phone rings. Mom's number. I wait until the 3rd ring before answering, not rushing like I used to. We'd like you and the twins to come for Sunday dinner next week, Mom says, her voice softer than I've ever heard. Your father grilled steaks? Just us? I ask, making my meaning clear. Autumn moved back to her condo last month, Mom says. Caleb's nursery is empty now. I breathe deeply. We'd be happy to come. But we'll need to leave by 7. Tessa has band practice Monday morning. The old me would have agreed to anything. The new me sets boundaries. That's fine, Mom says. We understand. On Saturday evening, our small house is full of voices. Brenda brings a potted fern. For new beginnings, she says. 2 nurses from pediatrics arrive with a welcome mat. My charge nurse carries homemade lasagna. When Brenda lifts her glass in a toast, to finding family in unexpected places, tears come, but they are different tears than before. The twins' rooms are painted. Milo's deep blue, Tessa's lavender. Their faces are speckled with paint as they argue cheerfully about where to hang posters. I started a college fund, I tell them, and I signed up for online classes for my BSN. You'll be the best nurse practitioner ever, Tessa says with confidence. A knock at the door surprises us. Dad stands there with a toolbox. Thought you might need help with the bookshelves, he says, noticing the paint-splattered scene. He sets the toolbox down. I'm proud of you, Celine. The words hang in the air. New, fragile, uncertain. As I accept my father's small gesture of peace, I wonder, are some family bonds worth repairing? Or is it sometimes better to let go and focus on the new, supportive relationships that appear in hard times?